Checks, they aren't as popular as they used to be, but more than 11 billion are written each year in the U.S. And where there is money, there are thieves. One local man learned this the hard way. Kristine Lazar has the new ways criminals are stealing checks and advice on how to protect your money.
I wrote exactly $10,000 with a line.
After writing a 5-figure check to the IRS, Todd, who asked us not to use his last name for privacy reasons, checked online to make sure it was cashed and didn't think about the money again.
And it wasn't until months later when we did our actual tax return for 2024 where they sent us a letter saying we never received that estimated payment.
When Todd looked at his online bank account, he saw that this particular check didn't have the usual footprint.
So normally you see the date, the check number, and the image icon. In this check, and only this check, in the whole history that we could go back online, there was no check number, 8004, and no image.
The bank had a hard time locating an image of the check, but once it did, Todd knew he had been robbed.
So what we saw was our check, where they washed out or changed the recipient. So instead of United States Treasury, it was an individual's name.
A woman's name that was unfamiliar to Todd. The dollar amount stayed the same, but had been rewritten, and the memo line was altered as well.
In the 27 years that you've been with Wells Fargo, have they contacted you in the past to verify a check?
They have.
But not in this case.
Not in this case.
Todd filed a fraud claim, but because more than 30 days had passed since the check was cashed, Wells Fargo would not reimburse him. Telling CBS News California investigates, "We never want to see anyone experience a financial scam or fraud. We continue to raise awareness to help our customers avoid, detect, and quickly report incidents." Todd was shocked that the bank wouldn't cover the loss and that he could become a victim of check fraud. He actually had gone out of his way to hand deliver the check inside the post office.
But we really had no idea that something that you put in the mail in the post office wouldn't be handled with care.
According to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, check fraud costs Americans over $1 billion each year. Experts say there are two ways they are altering checks: check washing.
Usually they will do it by soaking the check in antifreeze or nail polish remover liquids.
And now, check cooking.
So cooking the check is essentially taking the information from the check, scanning the check to your computer, scanning the signature, and then putting together a replica.
So then the question is, with both check washing and check cooking, does the check look good enough for the banks to be fooled?
Unfortunately, the criminals have all the right hardware, all the right printers, all the right inks.
And bank experts say financial institutions simply cannot reimburse every check fraud victim.
Especially for your larger financial institutions, they are vulnerable and susceptible to, let's say, hundreds of millions of dollars of potential check loss. So there would be no way for any financial institution to absorb every single type of fraud loss. Essentially, the financial institution would not be able to survive if that was the situation.
Cal Poly Pomona professor Victor Cardona has more than 2 decades in the banking industry. He shared with us tips to protect your money. First and foremost, follow the check. Once it's cashed, check the photo, and if you don't see one online, ask the bank to check. Notify the bank as soon as you suspect fraud. Contact law enforcement and the Postal Service if you mailed the check. Finally, contact the credit bureaus if you are a victim, so you don't have your identity stolen as well.
Would you tell people do not write a check under any circumstances?
I would say unless you're writing a check to your nephew or to your gardener, that you're handing the check to them personally, I think going electronic is the way to go.
And experts say electronic payments are more secure, although they are still vulnerable to theft as well. The best advice: follow your money. Once you write the check or send the wire, keep an eye on it until you know it landed in the right account.